Alright guys, so the inspiration for this video came from the video that I posted last week. If you did not see it, I'll make sure I link it here. The designer fragrance video, when I said I was almost done with designer fragrances because everything is mundane and redundant, flanker after flanker after flanker. You get the point. So I thought to myself, what are some fragrances that are complete opposite of what I've been smelling as of late from designer fragrance houses? These are creative fragrances, challenging fragrances even for some people. I think true connoisseurs would appreciate these fragrances. Let's talk about it. YouTube, what is good? It's your guy Darian, man. I'm the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I cover off on fashion on this channel, and I also talk about fragrances as well. So I teach you how to smell good and look good, because you can't have one without the other. All right. So if you're into fashion and fragrance, I hope you won't mind subscribing to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell icon as well. That way, when I upload new content on YouTube, you'll be one of the first people to get notified. All right, guys, and on today's video, you see the title. I'm going to be talking about fragrances that I feel like really true connoisseurs, these are fragrances that true connoisseurs would appreciate. Listen, when I first got into fragrances, I think I used to go on the website Notino, which is not available now in the US from what I understand, and they would allow you to sort your fragrance preference based on the scent DNA or scent profile. So you could go heavy dark fragrances, you can go citrus, aquatic, etc., etc. I would always immediately go to and select citrus and aquatic type fragrances. A lot of people that are coming into fragrances that are just getting started or that aren't heavy into fragrances, and those people that I say fit into that really 95% of the rest of the world that may have 1 to 5 fragrances that they wear all the time, not really into fragrances like what we would call frag heads. That's what the profile that most of them like: Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, YSL, fresh fragrances, aquatic fragrances, Acqu Di Gio, easy to wear, mass appealing kind of fragrances. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But when you are a fragrance enthusiast, a frag head, or whatever you want to label most of us that watch fragrance content as, it gets to a point where you want things that are different, things that are creative, and like I said, things that are inspiring. And I've got 10 fragrances here that I think fit that description. Some of them you guys may even say are a bit challenging, but I love these fragrances, and that's where I am now. So I want to share them with you guys. So if you want to see what's on the list, you know the routine, keep it locked right here.
The Bowtie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we are back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. Let's jump right into this video. The first fragrance up on the list is a fragrance from the Private Blend collection of Tom Ford, and this fragrance is called Oud Wood Intense. Oud Wood Intense. Now, just a minute now. If you are looking at this fragrance and thinking the original Oud Wood, get that out of your mind. There's really not much of a resemblance to the original Oud Wood to Oud Wood Intense. And again, I think that's the way a lot of creative brands do it. Either they're going to make it very similar to the original, or in some cases like this one, they're going to go absolutely in a different direction. And I kind of feel like that's what they did with Oud Wood Intense. This is a animalic, leathery, green, earthy, woody fragrance. That's the best descriptive words that I can use, but I freaking love it. I will be 100% honest. This is the type of fragrance when I first started kind of getting into fragrances, when I was that guy that really just wanted the fresh, mass appealing, easy to wear Dylan Blue, kind of fragrance. I would have smelled this and threw this bottle in the trash. But now I'm at a point in my journey where there's something about this fragrance that is just so magnetic to me. Like I said, the castoreum in here is animalic, leathery. Again, you have some angelica in here, some cypress as well. So it's really green and earthy, dry and woody, but it's masculine goodness. There's a lot of musk in here as well. I love this stuff. It's not for everybody, but again, I think the true connoisseurs out there would love and appreciate this fragrance. So this one is from the House of Tom Ford. It is really hard to find this one now because it's been discontinued, but this is Oud Wood Intense. What's up, guys? My name is Darren. I'm the Bowtie Fragrance Guy, and today I'm going to tell you guys about some of the best fragrances on the planet. Now, I heard that there's a poor dog that won't wag his own tail, and I'm not a dog and I'm not poor, so I'm going to wag my own tail. If you want to see what I'm talking about, check out these fragrances right here. Let's get it. Guys, if you have not yet, take advantage of the sale that's going to run through the end of this week. On my fragrances, you get one fragrance 15% off, two 25%, three 40%, and all four 50% off the retail prices. So head over to NavitusParfums.com and go ahead and grab these fragrances while supplies last. All right, guys, this next fragrance actually comes from the house of Penhaligon's, and this one is called Halfetti Leather. Halfetti Leather. Now, this, of course, as the name indicates, you're going to get some leather in here, but there's a lot of other things going on in this fragrance. I got this fragrance from FragranceBuy.ca. By the way, guys, which is another fragrance discounter that I highly recommend people check out. If you're interested in checking them out, of course, I will link it down below where you can save yourself a little bit of money on fragrances, especially if you want to check out Halfetti Leather. But guys, this fragrance is one that, again, the average person that wears fragrances may find this to be a little bit challenging, honestly. Now, there are some notes in here that are like plum, there's some cinnamon, nutmeg, notes that I love in addition to the leather, but there's also some notes in here that present a little bit more of a challenge for people. Everybody's not into oud. There's some oud in this fragrance, and there's also a note of cumin. All right, cumin is a note that can come off kind of bitter, again, kind of animalic in fragrances. In some instances, for a lot of people, cumin can be a little bit off-putting depending on the amount that's used. Now, I don't think there's an overabundance of cumin in this fragrance, but there are some touches in here that, again, the average person probably wouldn't gravitate towards a fragrance like this. But again, the true connoisseurs, I think they love this kind of scent. Now, this fragrance right here, just so you guys know, to me, is a little bit reminiscent to Black Afghano from Nasamato, just to give you a point of reference. But I love it. It's really good. So check it out. It's from the house of Penhaligon's. This is called Halfetti Leather. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, this one is highly regarded as one of the most artistic fragrances in the fragrance world at a large. And this fragrance is from the house of Andy Tower. This is L'air du Désert Marocain. And guys, this is, to me, as I've always described it, fragrance art. I love it. Again, I could see how it could be off-putting for some people. Again, what does it have in the opening? It does have some cumin in here, however you want to pronounce that. But there is, you do get a heavy dose of that in the opening of this fragrance. But this was made to, I think, again, represent the Saharan desert. And so you get this kind of very warm, dry, woody thing that's going on in this fragrance. Very spicy. Again, it opens up with the cumin in there, but there's some redeeming qualities that I think, don't put it in that category where it's not wearable, but it's really, really creative, really artistic, nice ambery dry down with some oak moss. So I love this stuff. This is just something you have to experience. You have to put it on your skin and see what I'm talking about, but I love it. It's from the house of Andy Tower. And again, this is called L'air du Désert Marocain. All right, guys, now this next fragrance actually comes from the house of Profumum Roma, and this fragrance is simply called Patchouli. This is called Patchouli, but this is Patchouli that is hot and heavy and in your face. Now, again, I'm just kind of making references to, again, fragrance connoisseurs, people that really want something creative, something different. Patchouli lovers, I think, will love this, but again, it may present somewhat of a challenge to other people out there. But guys, this is an amazing patchouli fragrance. And it does open up with a patchouli that's more earthy and green. And again, that's not mass appealing for most people. A far cry, from a Dior Sauvage Bleu de Chanel Acqu Di Gio kind of scent profile. But I'm telling you guys, this stuff is captivating when it gets on your skin. As it dries down, you start to get some more vanillic tones in here, more ambery, benzoin kind of vanillic-like tones in this fragrance as it dries down. And that bitter green earthy patchouli kind of turns into what people would call more of a chocolatey kind of patchouli. This is absolutely stunning juice. So check it out. It's from the house of Parfum Aroma. This is called Patchouli. All right, guys. Now this next fragrance is one that comes from the house of Givenchy, which to me a lot of their fragrances will fall into this category. But this is called Psychedelic. Psychedelic from the house of Givenchy Paris, and this is really two accords. There's patchouli in here and amber. But once again, you guys know the theme of this video. These are fragrances that I think, the average person, just when they initially smell these, probably wouldn't be attracted to these fragrances. But again, people that really appreciate fragrances art and appreciate things that are creative and well done, these are the kind of fragrances that we live for, man. Again, if you love patchouli and you love amber though, it's really hard to not to like this one. Gosh, this is so good. Definitely one of my favorite patchouli fragrances of all time. But again, it's not for everybody. But if you like patchouli, check it out. It's from the house of Givenchy Paris. This is called Psychedelic. Guys, and the next fragrance on this list is just complex, sexy rose goodness. And this fragrance comes from the house of Electimus, and this is called Celestial. This is called Celestial, and guys, like I said, this smells very similar to Nemir from Bodicea Victorious, and this is just mind-blowingly good. I know this is not going to be for everybody, but man, if you're looking for something creative, this is so good, man. This is rose. There's a saffron-y kind of leather in the opening with raspberry. It dries down till you get some tonka bean in here as well, and some very smoky gaiac wood. This stuff is so good. It is so good, man. It is complex. It is different. It is challenging, but my God, it's just magic on skin. Check it out. It's from the house of Electimus, man. If you're looking for something creative, something complex, this is called Celestial. All right, guys, this next fragrance, I mentioned it here on a video here recently, is from the house of Rania J. This is called Ombre Loop. Ombre Loop, guys. I love amber fragrances, but this one is going to present somewhat of a challenge for people in the opening, and that's where you're going to miss out with this fragrance, because there is this kind of green camphorous thing going on when this fragrance opens up, but when it dries down, it turns into a yummy, gooey, gourmand, ambery fragrance that is to die for. But I understand that first 2 or 3 minutes of this fragrance is going to present a challenge to some people because it's just so different. It's green. It's, like I said, a little smoky, camphorous kind of thing going on. You're going to miss the boat. This stuff is phenomenal. This is what fragrances should be all about, in my humble opinion. This is from the house of Rania J. And again, this is called Ombre Loop. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list is one I've had a love-hate relationship with, but again, it fits into the category of things that I'm talking about today. I think true connoisseurs appreciate this fragrance. It's from the house of Clive Christian, and this is Clive Christian X for men. Clive Christian X for men. Now, if you're looking for something that's more mass appealing from Clive Christian, try 1861 in the green bottle, a nice summery fragrance. But this stuff right here is for true connoisseurs. A lot of people aren't going to buy with this fragrance because it opens up very dry. This almost dry kind of vegetal opening of this fragrance. There's rhubarb. There's a really spicy, warm paprika note in here. And the combination of those two notes in the opening could, I understand, throw some people off. But there's a lot of redeeming qualities in this fragrance. It's very complex. On my skin, it's very long lasting. And the scent development here is A1. I've really come to really love and enjoy this fragrance, but again, I know it's not going to be for everybody. But as I said, this is for the connoisseurs. This is from the house of Clive Christian, and this is Clive Christian X for men. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, this fragrance actually comes from the house of Royal Crown, and this one is called Tabac Royale. Tabac Royale. My gosh, guys, this is a sexy, sexy fragrance, but like I've been saying all day, it is very heavy on the tobacco. The tobacco clove combination on this, the clove in this fragrance is going to be off-putting to some people. It gives a very, with the tobacco, the cloves gives a very almost, there's this slight undertone of sexy musk, almost like body odor, to be honest with you. And I know, listen, I get it, but trust me, this thing smells phenomenal. It's very sexy, very suggestive fragrance, if you know what I mean. But, oh man, tobacco at each level. There's tobacco in here, there's tobacco leaf in here as well. Like I said, there's a little bit of cloves, but you get some tonka bean and some other things going on in here as well for the connoisseurs. It's for the connoisseurs, but I love it. It's from the House of Royal Crown. This is called Tabac Royale. And last but not least on this list, guys, an animalic amber fragrance. That's the only thing I got to say about it. Is from the House of Perfume Aroma. This is called Ombre Loop. Ombre Loop, and again, this bottom line, amber lovers and true connoisseurs are going to love this fragrance. Everybody else is going to smell it probably and say, yuck, get that away from me. Trust me, this is going to be like love or hate. It's not going to be anybody down the middle on this one. Very polarizing, very animalic amber fragrance, but I freaking love it. It's from the House of Perfume Aroma. This is called Ombre Loop. But that is it, gentlemen. That is my time. I hope you enjoyed this list today. What are some fragrances that you have in your collection that you think others may find a little bit challenging? Or in other words, fragrances that you think only maybe true connoisseurs of fragrances would really appreciate? I would love to hear from you down in the comment section. And as always, I sincerely appreciate your time and your attention to these videos. I know you don't have to watch, but you do, man, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to make sure you take a few moments to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you're sharing these videos out to some other folks out there that you think could use this information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darren. I'm the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.